Hello YouTube, this is Chris from ECHSTeamMILE, giving an updated version of my Dragonsworn deck profile. This is the deck I will be running at regionals. I may side out a card here or there, but this is basically it. This is the complete deck I'm going to be running. Go ahead and give me all your comments and any suggestions as to what I should do with this deck. I'm going to go ahead and start off with my grave control cards. These are probably the most important cards of the deck. They help me switch back and forth between lights and darks in this deck throughout my grave. There are two proxies in this deck right now, and it's just because they haven't come in the mail yet. I'm going to start off with Phantom of Chaos. His effect is you banish a card in the grave, you gain its name, its attack, its defense, and its effect. And most of the time I use this with Judgment Dragon. I'll banish it, and I'll pay 1,000, destroy everything on the field but himself. And compare that with Light Pulsar, well, you got Darkness Metal in the grave, and you can go for OTK. Alright, moving on. Dark Armed. Probably one of my most favorite cards in this deck. I get him out more than often. Probably 2/3 of my games I get him out. The most universal card in the deck, and usually secures me a win. Sangan. Most of the times I do not get Sangan, and I'll get a Mystic Tomato in my hand, and I'll just use these to cycle through and get Darks in the grave. And then at the end, I'll Sangan Plague Spreader to my hand. Plague Spreader and Effect Failures are the only tuners I run in this deck, even though I have a lot of Synchro monsters in my extra. I just like to have a large variety of choices. I used to run one card Trooper, now I run two. It's become one of my favorite cards in this deck, because when I have Dad or Dark Armed in my hand, I use him to just keep flipping cards over until I get the third Dark in the grave and then special summon him out. I just put in the second one, so I'm going to see how that works out. And then Red Eyes Eclipse Wyverns with the Red Eyes Darkness Metals. I used to run 3 Darkness Metals, but that's when I was running strictly Dragons. Now I'm running Dragonsworn. So that's my Grave Control, my Banishment, basically my team of Banishment. I got 1 BLS. If I get him out, it's usually close to game. And a Chaos Sorcerer. I don't really like Chaos Sorcerer, but I keep him in here just because he can save me sometimes. And then 3 Light Pulsars to bring back Red Eyes, Darkness Metals, and Dark Flare. The reason I don't include Dark Flare with just the Banishing is because I considered him Grave Control and Banishing. Probably the most universal card in this deck and works the best with it. If I got Dad in my hand or Dark Armed, just throw Darks in the grave, that way I can get him out. And I use him to banish Wyverns and get cards to my hand. So I could use him to banish Wyvern, get Dark Arm to my hand, then throw a Dark from my hand to the grave and a Dark from my deck to the grave and have 3. So he sets up a lot of good combos. On to the Lightsworn part of the deck. We got 1 Charge. Pretty simple. 1 Jane. 1 Aaron. 1 Lumina. 2 Raikos. 3 Lilas. Because I do not have MST in this deck, this is my MST, and Raikou is just as good. And then 3 Solar Recharges. Solar Recharge is probably one of the best cards for the Lightsworns, and I recommend it to everyone who runs Dragonsworns. Another word for the deck, Twilight. I prefer Dragonsworn though. Moving on to the support cards, or ones that don't really like fit into a category. Got the Judgment Dragon. Got one Gores. One Honest, because it's mostly lights. It's, I'd say, 18 lights and 12 darks, that's my guess. And then 2 effect veilers for those Insector Dragonflies and Rescue Rabbits. Okay, on to the more or less staples of the deck. Got the Future Fusion, Dark Hole, Moon, Heavy, and Reborn. Nothing too surprising there, and I do run one trap in this deck, and if you're running a spell heavy deck, I recommend this. This says 0 gravity on it, but this isn't the card I use, it's my other proxy. This is my Treacherous Trap Hole, which should be arriving on Friday. My regionals is on Saturday, so hopefully it does. And Treacherous Trap Hole is when you have no traps in the graveyard, you activate this and destroy 2 monsters on the field. So it's pretty good. On to my extra deck. Alright. Now, I don't pull out extra cards out of this deck often. It's more just for the options, for the choices. I like to have, if the opportunity comes to have to get one out, I like to have it. So, one Granosaurus, one Giga Brilliant, 2 Leviathans, 2 Utopia, 1 Scarred Warrior, 1 Iron Chain Dragon, 1 X-Saber Urabellum. I never get him out. He's just there for filler, I guess. 1 Scrap Archfiend, Black Rose, Red Dragon Archfiend, Stardust, and my 5-head, which will be here on Friday. And for anyone who wants to see how I run my side deck, I'll show you. If I'm playing Card Curry, system down, I side in. I'll just keep it there. And you pay 1,000, and you banish all face-up machine type monsters, and in your opponent controls and in their grave. If I'm playing 6 Sam or some kind of spellcaster deck, I'll side in Puppet Plant, come in handy, discard it to the grave and take control of a warrior or a spellcaster type monster. If I'm playing Mirror Match or I am playing a Dino Rabbit, I wish I had another one of these, but I don't. It's extremely useful, and I plan on using it a lot. Electric Virus, discard to the grave and take control of 1 dragon type monster. 1 Smashing for Dino Rabbits. 1 Bottomless for Dino Rabbits. I wish I had another one of those. I might be getting my friend to let me borrow one. This is my proxied Bottomless. 1 Royal Decree. I thought about running 2, but I decided that I got enough MSTs with my Lilas and my Raikus. And I extremely recommend running this if you're playing wind-ups or if you're playing Dark Worlds. Run 2 gold. And their effects are when they're discarded to the grave by an opponent's card effect, destroy 2 cards on your opponent's side of the field. So if you're playing wind-ups, they discard that to your grave and then you destroy their crap. That comes in handy. For anything that is graveyard reliant, because I can't run Macrocosmos or Dimensional Fissure because of my graveyard heaviness, side in 2 DD Crows, and you discard it to the grave to banish 1 card in your opponent's graveyard, which can come in handy on Insector Hornet, or you can do it on just about anything. Prohibition, and then my proxy prohibition, which I'm getting in the mail on Friday. You always want to side that in after your first game because you know their deck and you want to stop them from having whatever they want. And for their prohibitions, side in 2 MSTs, just so I can have the extra spell destruction and be prepared at most times. If there are any questions or regards to this video, any recommendations, any shoutouts, I don't know, you want to watch this video, go ahead and give it a like, rate, subscribe, favorite, do whatever you want, watch later. I care less. But thank you for watching this video. This has been Chris from ECHSTeamMILE with my Dragonsworn deck 2.0, and I'm signing out. Peace.